diaper on.
And that is birth.
And when the baby comes out, a flat stomach pops out.
A warm and wonderful educational experience.
Happy Columbus Day.
Yes.
And it comes with a maternity kit, which is
They show a picture of Donald like butchering Indians.
extra maternity clothes, pocketbook, brush, receiving blanket, towel, 2 hangers, barrette, rattle, hand mirror, and diaper. That's a maternity
This
kit.
is a handbook about single mother. There's a handbook with
Well,
a
there's
single mother with
pilgrims,
that
there's no
kid.
Indians
Yeah,
there.
right,
Mother.
Colonial America, there's Ben Franklin.
You get a hand down.
Glorious time.
Food sold
Liberty Bell
separately.
got broken by Donald Duck.
Housing.
Is that how it happened?
Can I read this to the class?
Yeah, let's read it
Oh, yes, can I
aloud.
read this?
Can I? Alright,
Read it. History of the United States. And again,
alright, 5 minutes.
Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Donald Duck in America on Parade. Wait, can we get to see the picture? Oh, you knocked the bread. That's okay. It's okay. Listen, said Donald to his nephews. The bands are playing. Here comes the big parade. Yippee, shouted Dewey Duck as the first floats rolled down Main Street at Walt Disney World. There's Christopher Columbus. And the Pilgrims, said Huey. What a terrific turkey, exclaimed Louie. This is a super celebration. It was a super celebration, a celebration of America's 200th birthday. Donald and the boys saw George Washington and Betsy Ross and Benjamin Franklin and many other people who helped make our country great. We saw the whole story of America, said Dewey after the parade was over. And it was lots more fun than doing homework, Huey added, laughing. That reminds me, said Donald Duck. You haven't done your history lesson, Huey. And Dewey and Louie, you have homework to do too. That night, the 3 little ducks grumbled, sighed, and groaned a bit, but they did finally open their school books. Dewey and Louie soon finished what they had to do, but Huey was just too tired to keep his eyes on his history book. Soon he was sound asleep and dreaming. And what a dream it was! Just as they had watched America's birthday parade together that afternoon, now, in the dream, they were standing in a row on a sandy beach, watching 3 ships come sailing in. Those ships, Dewey pointed. I know those ships. The Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. It's Columbus, exclaimed Louie. We're going to see Columbus discover America.
Discover. Eureka, I found it.
Hardly were the words out of his mouth when the ships dropped anchor. Columbus and his brave crew lowered boats and rowed to shore. But wait, the boys saw that someone had been left behind on the Santa Maria. Huey peered through a spyglass that he borrowed from a friendly sailor. What did he see? There, swabbing the deck, was his Uncle Donald. That's our cabin boy, explained the sailor. He forgot to put salt in the captain's porridge, so we won't let him help us discover this new land.
New land.
That part isn't in our history book, said Louie. It wasn't in the parade either. Suddenly, Columbus and his men were gone. Now the boys found themselves in New England. They were helping the Pilgrims celebrate the first Thanksgiving Day. Just the Pilgrims. What would be nicer, Huey thought, than to share in the turkey and cranberries and corn on the cob and pumpkin pie.
That corn on the cob that they brought over from Europe.
But one pilgrim wasn't feasting. One pilgrim, who looked very much like Donald Duck, was sitting in the stocks where folks who misbehaved were put as punishment. He was supposed to help with the harvest, a woman told the boys, but he ran off and hid in the woods instead. No turkey for him. Oh dear, said Huey, and he blinked. At once the pilgrims disappeared, and so did the turkey. Now the 3 little ducks were standing on a cobbled street amid a crowd of ladies in silken gowns and gentlemen in powdered wigs and velvet coats. I see Benjamin Franklin, said Dewey. And Thomas Jefferson, exclaimed Louie. What year is this, wondered Huey. It's 1776, said a young woman who was watching a band of soldiers march past. Then it's our country's birthday year, chorused the boys. What city are we in? Philadelphia, of course, said the young woman. We have the Declaration of Independence now, and soon someone will ring the Liberty Bell. She was right. The boys heard the bell sound from the Tower of Independence Hall. It rang softly at first, then louder. Then, above the ringing of the bell, the boys heard a familiar voice quaking with terror. Who was it? It was Donald Duck, the bell ringer, who had been swept off his feet by the mighty bell and was bobbing wildly up and down at the end of the bell rope. That's why it has a crack in it today.
Because Donald Duck was on the end of it.
Before the boys could get a ladder and rescue their uncle, the dream changed again. This time they were on a great prairie, and a train of covered wagons was rumbling by. Wow, said Huey, they're just like the one in the parade. Look there, Dewey pointed at a draggle-tailed figure running after the wagon train, shouting and waving. There's Uncle Donald! Hey, Mr. Wagon Master, you left Uncle Donald behind. I sure did, said the wagon master. That silly duck let the campfires go out twice last night. Can't hold up progress for the likes of him. Uncle Donald represents the Indian. Again, the dream changed. Huey found himself with his brothers floating down the Mississippi on a raft. I feel like Tom Sawyer, crowed Louie, and I see a riverboat steaming around the bend. Uh-oh, said Huey. There's a keelboat, too, and Uncle Donald is right in the path of the steamboat. Uncle Donald, watch out, Dewey shrieked. Quiet, shouted Donald. Can't you see I'm busy? A second later, the prow of the steamboat crunched into Donald's craft. Then Donald was busy indeed. He was swimming for dear life. Oh, no, this is the climax of the story. Then, in another second, the river had vanished. Now the boys were in a little western town of long ago. What will Uncle Donald do wrong next, Huey wondered. Then he found out. He and his brothers were in a school, a little old-fashioned school where the boys and girls used chalk and slates instead of pencils and paper. Donald Duck was standing in the corner of the schoolroom, and he had his face to the wall. Why is he standing in the corner? Whispered Huey to one of the schoolboys. Because he doesn't know his history lesson, the boy answered. Why doesn't he know it? Demanded Huey. Even if he didn't study, he did see the Walt Disney World parade. Huey said this so loudly that he woke himself up. His brothers chuckled as he blinked and looked around. Their Uncle Donald was stretched out on the sofa, sleeping soundly, and he looked very, very tired. Uncle Donald's even sleepier than you are, said Louie. We better let him sleep, said Dewey. And I better not dream anymore, said Huey. Uncle Donald looks as if he's been through enough history for one day.
Yeah, so you want to press it all over the wheels.
No. My mom teaches nursery school and I've helped out there.
What do you think it takes to get a float in the parade or to get in a parade?
Money, a lot of planning.
Well, or, I mean, what if you just rode a horse? Can you get in?
You have to get approval. You need a permit, right?
Well, no, you.
And would they like precepts?
Yeah, they're gonna ask you, and then you're gonna make the ones look good.
Of course.
You're gonna make them look really nice. Else we don't want you.
Do we like
Yeah, that's a good question. Do we have school?
yeah.
That's in the folder. It doesn't say Columbus Day at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's all.
Then you do. I thought you used to not. I thought it was a state money. I mean, this is a town, North Beach is a town.
North Beach is what?
North Beach used to be the Italian part of town.
Fireworks the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Closed down.
White Tower.
Yeah, no, I saw it.
All over the place, like commemorating, Columbus's 500th anniversary.
Are there people buying it?
I don't know,